The Tepe from the Tepe, an exploration of Göbekli Tepe as an ancient nexus of the cosmos, society and knowledge. On a hilltop overlooking the fertile plains of southeastern Turkey stands Göbekli Tepe, the oldest known monumental structure created by humanity. Towering over the landscape with its concentric stone circles and T-shaped pillars, the site has captivated archaeologists, historians and enthusiasts alike, prompting questions about the origins of human culture, belief and social organization. More than a sacred site, Göbekli Tepe is a testament to our earliest efforts to make sense of the world around us. A place where scientific observation, social structure and spiritual intention met in a shared quest for meaning. To understand Göbekli Tepe fully, we must see it not as an isolated sacred structure but as a multidimensional nexus, a place where emerging understandings of the cosmos, society and knowledge converged in an evolving cultural symphony. The very act of carving, building and gathering at this site was an unfolding process that allowed humans to experiment with how to connect to the universe, create order and transmit wisdom across generations. Göbekli Tepe was more than an echo of mythic origins. It was an active first time, a crucible of dynamic creation where humans constructed not only their world, but also themselves. This notion of a first time, or Zep Tepi in the Egyptian context, refers to an era when the gods established cosmic order and divine principles shaped the world, a time that set the cosmic social and spiritual blueprint for everything that followed. If Göbekli Tepe is indeed a leftover from such an epoch, then its existence suggests that it was not simply the product of early agriculturalists experimenting with religion and social structures, but rather a deliberate recreation or remnant of a sacred cosmology already established and passed down from a time before. To grasp the profound significance of Göbekli Tepe as a remnant of the Zep Tepe, we must embrace a triad that interconnects space, society and knowledge. Through this lens, we find that Göbekli Tepe was not merely sacred, it was an axis that bridged the material and immaterial, a hub for social and intellectual development, and a repository for cultural knowledge and cosmological insight. Göbekli Tepe's physical design is more than a ritualistic gathering place. It is a profound attempt to map the universe in stone. The circles of pillars, intricately carved with animals, geometric symbols, and abstract forms, suggest a space deeply connected to celestial cycles and natural patterns. These carvings are not just decoration, they are early scientific instruments, representing attempts to understand and interact with the cosmos. In this sense, the sacred space of Göbekli Tepe transcends spiritual intent. It acts as an axis mundi, a world center that bridges heaven and earth. Just as Zep Tepi in Egyptian myth represents the moment the gods descended to establish cosmic order, Göbekli Tepe reflects humanity's efforts to reach upward, to grasp the stars, the seasons, and the forces governing their world. These ancient builders were not only engaging in ritual, they were embedding their understanding of time, space, and the cosmos into the very fabric of their architecture. Göbekli Tepe is also a manifestation of social evolution, requiring an unprecedented level of cooperation, coordination, and specialization. Here, the act of building served a dual purpose, not only constructing a monument, but also solidifying a community. It is likely that the creation of Göbekli Tepe brought together multiple groups, each contributing labor, resources, and skills, ultimately binding them into a shared social order. Beyond mere construction, the site represents the emergence of new social roles and hierarchies. While spiritual leaders or shamans may have directed ritual activities, others took on the roles of astronomers, craftsmen, and builders. Göbekli Tepe is evidence of early social stratification and the need to organize a growing web of interconnected activities, ritual, labor, and governance. The construction itself became a social glue, forging a shared identity and solidifying a complex hierarchy that was fundamentally grounded in the site's multidimensional purpose. The carvings and symbols at Göbekli Tepe are not mere artwork, they are records. Just as written language would eventually encode human thought, these stone carvings represent a proto-language of symbols that captured both practical and sacred knowledge. The animals, geometric patterns, and abstract shapes are mnemonic devices tying together mythic narratives, cosmological observations, and possibly seasonal markers or historical events. Göbekli Tepe can be seen as a library without walls, an open-air repository of humanity's earliest knowledge. This site functioned as a mnemonic landscape where social memory, cosmic cycles, and practical know-how were etched into stone, ensuring that knowledge was not only preserved, but could be passed on and interpreted by future generations. In this way, the pillars themselves acted as storytellers, guardians of a cultural narrative that was as scientific as it was spiritual. The genius of Göbekli Tepe lies in how these elements, space, society, and knowledge, not only coexisted but dynamically influenced one another, creating a feedback loop of meaning-making and cultural evolution. Each aspect of this triad reinforced and deepened the others, revealing a site of profound complexity and interconnection. The stone circles of Göbekli Tepe were both material and social, serving as centers for gathering, ritual, and community bonding. This convergence is profound. The site's physical structure was not merely a passive space, but a social instrument that anchored human life in a larger cosmic narrative. Every stone carved, every pillar raised was an act of communal solidarity, binding people together in shared purpose. Just as the cosmos was mapped in stone, society was mapped in ritual. And as the complexity of the site grew, so did the social structure of those who built and maintained it. The physical site demanded organization, and in return, the growing society shaped the space, adding layers of meaning and purpose to the evolving monument. Göbekli Tepe reveals an early division of knowledge roles within society. Just as rituals required priests, the site required astronomers to track celestial movements, artists to carve symbols, and leaders to organize labor. This growing complexity spurred the need to record information, whether through oral tradition or stone carvings. Knowledge was not just stored, but lived. It became the lifeblood of the society's cohesion and identity. The encoding of symbols into the site's pillars transformed Göbekli Tepe into an archive of communal memory. This act of carving was an intentional effort to translate cosmic observations and social norms into tangible, interpretable forms, a critical step in humanity's development of symbolic thought and cultural transmission. Göbekli Tepe stands as an early intersection of knowledge and architecture, where the cosmos was brought down to earth. The site's design, alignments, and carvings suggest a sophisticated understanding of the natural world. If the site is indeed oriented towards celestial bodies or seasonal changes, then it becomes more than a sacred space. It becomes a tool for navigating time and space, a stone calendar for the early world. Here, space becomes knowledge, and knowledge becomes space. The site's physical structure encoded cosmological patterns, making the sacred visible, the invisible tangible. By etching their observations and beliefs into stone, Göbekli Tepe's builders ensured that the knowledge of their universe was not fleeting but enduring, written into the very bones of the earth. Göbekli Tepe stands as a direct product of the Zep Tepi, the age when divine beings established cosmic order on earth. It is not merely a symbol of emerging human consciousness, but a relic from a sacred era when this cosmic order was physically built into the world. The site's construction is an intentional act of embedding sacred principles into stone, with the builders actively participating in manifesting the divine structures handed down from that primordial time. Göbekli Tepe thus represents the preservation and continuation of this sacred legacy, a time when the boundaries between the divine, the social, and the cosmic were one and the same. In this framework, Göbekli Tepe serves as a site of divine observation and sacred knowledge. Constructed with a deep understanding of the heavens and earth, the site operates as a sacred observatory aligned with celestial patterns, anchoring the divine order into the physical world. It was a center for spiritual and social continuity. Göbekli Tepe played a critical role in maintaining and transmitting the sacred teachings, serving as a hub where social structures and spiritual practices were unified under the principles of the Zep Tepi. Finally, it was a living manifestation of sacred order. The monumental pillars and intricate carvings are not just decorative, but deliberate expressions of a shared reality, grounded in a cosmological worldview that directly connects the community to the divine order established during the Tepe. By expanding our lens to see Göbekli Tepe as a convergence of space, society, and knowledge, we unlock its full complexity. This site is not simply a religious monument. It is an early observatory, a communal gathering point, and a library of human experience. It represents the moment when humanity reached for the stars and inscribed its story onto the earth. In this convergence, we find the essence of what it means to be human, a being constantly striving to understand the cosmos, build society, and transmit knowledge across the generations. Göbekli Tepe is, in every sense, humanity's own first time, a moment of cosmic, social, and intellectual birth that continues to shape our understanding of who we are and where we come from. It is the Tepe that emerged from the Tepe, the human echo of a world constantly being created anew,